Hi, this is Green Juice Man here. It feels really sad today actually because this is my day 28 of my 28-day water fast, and after posting these videos every day, I feel like I've been sharing the load with a lot of you people who have been viewing these things, and it does feel kind of odd to be finishing it. It's been the most amazing journey. The beginning, it felt so it felt such a huge mountain to climb. Could I ever really achieve getting through 28 days without food? Most of us in our lives have never contemplated or attempted anything like this, and you get hungry if you miss a couple of meals. So the thought of actually being able to achieve something like going for 28 days without anything except for water is a mountain. And now at the top of that mountain, I'm looking back, and I haven't really. I'm sorry, I'm struggling for words. I haven't really found it quite as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't so much about the food as the emotional attachment to the food. Is that what I mean? There's a huge emotional attachment to food. I still have not really had hunger. There has been no hunger, not real hunger. There's been cravings, but that's not hunger. There's been cravings for unhealthy food. Body plays tricks. Body asks for inappropriate stuff to be put into it because that's what we've learned from childhood. We've learned when we're babies and when we're just starting to come out into the world of food, we immediately get bombarded with the wrong type of stuff to eat, and it's so sad. And that remains with you for life, so that we actually believe that we need the wrong stuff to put in there and to unprogram, whatever you call it. It's very, very difficult. So anyway, that's a bit of a ramble. So anyway, let's get on to other things. People always, my weights are as follows. Actually, I've just wrote them down on a bit of paper. Let's have a look. So when I started, on the day after I started, in English weight, I weighed 13 stone 6, which I'd been stuck at for a long time. I think when I was doing 80-10-10, I dropped down a little bit and then got stuck at this sort of weight. And even though I ate a huge amount of really maximum, anything between 3,000 and 5,000 calories a day, I never really put on weight, but I didn't ever really lose it either. So it does work. It is an amazing thing, and energy goes through the roof, But anyway, so I started at 13 stone 6 pounds, or 188 pounds, and my weight today is 11 stone 2, or 156 pounds. So that gives a weight loss of 32 pounds, or 2 stone 4 pounds. All within 28 days, so that's quite amazing. I don't know what will happen now. I mean, once I start to refeed, obviously that weight will go up a bit, but I want to keep losing weight. I feel sad that I'm leaving it now because I still know I've got fat in places that I'd rather not. And I'm looking at it from fitness. I'm not looking at it for cosmetic reasons now. Or any of those things. I'm too old to be thinking about being an attractive person to the opposite sex or anything like that. I'm looking at it for health and for fitness. That is the only thing I want. And when you're doing cycling, weight is not what you want on your body. And I've been 140, 142 pounds in the past when I was at my peak of cycling. And even though people said, "Oh, you're really thin," that's the perception that most people have of people at a low weight. Even though you happen to be really fit and everything, people look at you and say you're thin. And of course, the reason is that the majority of people in the West are podgy. They are podgy all the time. They're carrying excess water around, excess flab. And it's sort of the norm to be like a stone or 14 to 20 pounds overweight. That becomes the norm. So if you fall below that norm, then people think that you're thin or anorexic, or you're about to die of cancer, which of course just isn't the case. But I would have liked to have gone a bit lower. I said I'd do a 28-day fast. I wasn't going to do any less than that, but I'm not going to do any more on this particular one. I'll go on to really clean eating now. I'll do the 80-10-10 and just see what happens, But I'm not going to go so mad with calories as I did before. I'll keep that back a little bit. I'm not going to aim for calories particularly at all. I'm just, instead of cramming in quite as many bananas, try and keep the bananas maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to say, but I was eating 20 plus bananas a day. Now maybe I don't know, cut it in half or something, eat 10 bananas. But that is my main source of carbs, so carbs are important. And you definitely need carb. I think what I'll do is I'll aim it more at what I'm doing. So if I'm having a really not much day, then I won't eat as much as if I'm planning to do quite a hard ride, So that's really all there is to weight. I mean, you can see. I'll just stand up so you can see. I don't know if you can see. I'm not going to get my bit, my thing out, but you can see I'm not particularly overweight now. It's roughly flat stomach. There is a bit of flab around here I don't like. There's still the sort of the man boobs, which I think are gross, but maybe I'll just have to do some workout on the top part of the body for that one. What else have I written here? So negative things about doing this was, and I still got it here, is my lips being dry all the time, awful taste in the mouth. It's like acetone or something. You're constantly breathing because you're like in ketosis and you're burning using ketones or whatever it is. I did read about this. I don't entirely understand it. Your breath. Well, my partner said my breath. I think she's just kind to me, but she said my breath's not that bad. It's slightly sweet and smells a bit odd, but I've constantly got this horrible taste in your mouth. You will definitely get sick of water. I did have a question asked of do I just drink tap water? Well, yes, to start with, I drank tap water, which is filtered. Now, we live in the southwest, and the water here is pretty good, but it's high and they put a lot of chlorine in it. So I used to stand bottles and let them sort of just evaporate, because chlorine's a gas and it will evaporate, and then filter it and then use that. But that got so disgusting tasting, it tasted metallic, that I started to buy water from Lidl's, actually, a shop, you can buy it really cheap, like, I don't know, 25p for a couple of litres. Just buy loads of that and still stick that through the filter, but that doesn't taste quite so bad. You will get sick of water. I've had water up to my eyeballs. I don't know, tomorrow when we come to the first refeeding, I realise I've got to carry on drinking water, but and of course I will get back into it. It's just that I think just the taste of the mouth is making everything weird. Blood pressure is that's one of the ones that I heard about all the time. Now, my blood pressure hasn't always been good, but it's been very good since I've been doing 80-10-10, and generally it would be about between 120 over I don't know, 60 or 70 to 110 over the same, 60, 70, and it's gradually falling off. And I did get a little bit. I wasn't really worried about it, but one day it was as low as 85 over 55, and you can really feel it. Even though I've still been able to function, I've still been able to do lots of things, including light cycling, walking, all the things that I enjoy doing. You can do them all, as long as you're not fearful of it. You can do them all. Just do it gently. And yeah, you've got to be careful you don't do this sudden, down on the floor and then stand up, because it gets me every single time. Every time I stand up I go, oh, and you just get that like you're going to faint, and it's just low blood pressure. It's nothing, just be prepared for it, Good, they say in the night, make sure that you that if you're going to the loo in the night, that you just sit on the side of the bed for a minute, just sit there, relax, and then slowly get up, because it's in the night you could just stroll, you could just sort of like jump out of bed to go and find that it's dark, and you could end up in all sorts of trouble. But I've survived without actually collapsing, so I'm sure other people can. Just take care. What else have I got? I can't even read. Oh yeah, sort of like the quick weight loss. I'm not very happy with my scraggy neck, because since I started sort of trying to look at being healthy, my weight was just over 16 stone. And I'm so sorry, I can't remember how many pounds that is, but so, over the last few years, I've lost about 5 stone in weight to now. And, a lot of English, or not English, but a lot of Western people get these sort of fat necks, which are not very nice. And you sort of put on, these store fat all around, especially men, I think, and women, store a lot of fat around your neck. And I definitely was one of those. And of course, when it all goes, and you're older like me, you get left with this scraggy neck. Well, so be it. If I've got a scraggy neck, I've got a scraggy neck. I just have to put up with it. Yeah, and read books about it. I've got these. I think I've showed these before. I don't know if I've showed you both of them. This one, Joel Furman, medical doctor. I don't know. Can you see that at all? I'll try and show you. Anyway, this book's on fasting and eating, and he talks about water fast. Now, if you read this book, you'll get paranoid, because he talks very much about anything over 3 days you should do a supervised fast. He says how safe fasting is. It's incredibly safe, and then goes on to explain that anything over 3 days you should have medical supervision. You should be supervised. Now, this guy's a medical doctor. He is not in any way going to say that fasting is safe, because if somebody dies and he's said fasting is really safe, he's going to be in big trouble. So he's got to be very, very cautious. So, the decision is yours. If you feel that you're not confident, then, don't do a supervised one. If you can find anybody to supervise, you happen to be in the US, then maybe you could choose some of these guys. You can choose Dr. Doug Graham, or a variety of other people who will, supervise the water fast. You'll also pay many $1,000s to do it, but if that's what you feel. But just remember, fasting is safe. But just read look at the telltale signs, things that are dangerous. The things that make it unsafe. When I went into this fast, I'd been 80-10-10 for quite a while. My diet was incredibly clean. I exercised, I'm in good health, and I had no fear about it. I mean, one of the things they say, if you're fearful about fasting, then don't fast. If you think you can't survive without food, then don't fast. You can, but if you're fearful, don't do it. And there's this other book here, which I just happened to look at when I was in a shop the other day in Waterstones. This is Stephen Harrod Burner, I don't know how you say his name, Burner or something, Stephen Harrod Burner, and it's called The Transformational Power of Fasting. And this is a brilliant book, I think. I don't know if you can see it there. More of a spiritual book. It might not, do it for you, but it's a massive information. I haven't even read it all yet. And reading these sort of books is unbelievable, because it just makes you realise how brilliant fasting is, and the healing power of it, is unbelievable. As far as my own healing is concerned, I think it's difficult to tell what healing you're really going to get out of it until you've re-fed and you're back in form again. But I know I've had weird things happen to joints. Joints are feeling better. My knees always struggled from when I used to cycle a lot of mileage many years ago, and they feel 100% better. Now, some of that could be because I haven't been working them hard, of course, and that's a fear in my own mind. Am I just saying this, or is it because I haven't been, cracking up hills and stuff recently? Foot's a lot better. Generally, it's okay. I mean, you get some odd pains and stuff like that while you're fasting, because your body's doing its own thing. But I don't think you can really tell how well you've done until you've re-fed and you're really sort of, living a healthy life again. So, I don't know what else I wanted to say, really. I mean, the support on YouTube has been fantastic. You know, use YouTube. It's such a fantastic sort of media thing that we've got these days, that we can communicate with each other. And it, you know, for everybody that's shared on my channels, on my videos, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed it. You know, you've been such fantastic strength, and thanks for everybody who's posted up videos on fasting before. You know, everybody's been supportive. Whether you like or dislike, whatever you've shared on them, it doesn't matter. You know, it's just knowing people are there and that you're interested in it. You know, and just get ready for the emotional roller coaster that will go with it, because it is enormous. You know, I just can't help. I can't say that enough, because that is the thing that's going to get you. It's the emotional roller coaster. You know, our food is everything. It means everything to us, and it goes back to childhood, where we first got fed by our parents. Happy childhood memories, or maybe really shit childhood memories, depends where you came from. I shared about my own abuse, etc., and everything else is connected, you know, and food that was happening at that time, it's all connected. You know, you could just be walking down the street and you'll get a whiff of some food, and that will take you to a certain thing that happened. It might have been a romantic holiday, some love, you know, and it all goes on. It's so strong, you know. But I could talk for hours, and this video is very long already, and this is my final video, so on the fast, and that feels sad. What I'll do is I'll post. I'm going to try and post one tomorrow, just on, if I can, you know, it's quite a private moment to me in a way. We'll be taking my first bit of food, so I might, but I want to just let you know what it feels like and how it feels. So I might just do like a minute one or something, just so you can share that experience with me. And then I might put some down a little bit, you know, after a week or so, just to say how it's going with the refeeding. If the exercise is starting again, and I just feel like now I can carry on and get back into my routines and start to plan my life. And you know, I've tried to make lots of really ridiculously big decisions during this fast, and that's probably not a good idea, really. So all I could say is you've all been brilliant. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed doing this with your help, and I'm going to stop this now. And just peace and love, you know, to everybody. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. Thanks for liking, and those of you who have disliked the videos, fine, because thank you, I learned all of it. Thanks for people who have commented and shared and sent me personal messages. I love you all. Peace and best wishes.